Hey guys, Carl Spreedy's here, Decide Your Destiny Daily Dose number 10, and today we're going to talk about conversations and the importance of conversation and deciding to have better conversations. And today I've got a guest, I've got Bas Tadros. Welcome, Bas.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Glad to have you along. I think we have quite a few conversations, so I thought you'd be a good candidate for this role.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to talk about conversations. I think it's important to talk about talking, which in my terminology I call it meta communication.
Yes.
Where you're talking about talking to better improve your own expression and your own communication and dialogue with others.
Yes.
So I think it is a very important kind of conversation to have, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you shared a story with me where you were having a conversation with a friend who was a little bit apprehensive what he can and can't talk about.
Yes, yeah.
And there are people like that everywhere.
Yeah,
that are walking on ice, so to speak.
Especially at the moment. I think it's such a people are worried about having conversations. And this friend I saw just out at a pub, and I was just chatting to him, and he was going into a bit of his beliefs and thoughts and opinions, and I said, "Oh, cool, let's go deeper because I'm curious. I'm wanting to know." And he said, "No, best not to get into this." I said, "Why?" He goes, "I'm just very worried about what people think, and I'm very worried to kind of speak and communicate." And I just found that so profound, and I just said, "Why is that?" And he told me he'd been seeing a lot of if you believe this, don't follow me on Facebook, and a lot of these posts, and if you believe this, unfriend me. And I just found that so interesting. I just thought, why are we doing that? When your belief might change from one day to the other.
Yeah.
And I'd rather know your beliefs. Say they're wacky, say they're dangerous, say they're crazy. I'd rather know that they're there and they're present than just have no understanding of it at all. And I think it's so disappointing, I guess, to have such a amazing youth culture that is terrified of having conversations. And I just think it's so important to have and decide to have better conversations and have better communication. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, we go through stages in society, right, where the human interactions that we have dictate how we interact with each other on social media.
Yes.
I think the other way is unfolding now, where the interactions on social media are starting to impact how we have communications off social media.
Yeah.
Like talking what you've experienced with that friend.
Yeah.
And so he's walking on ice, so to speak, because of what's happening on social media.
Yes.
And he's almost applying that same rule, like a blanket rule, when he's catching up with you in person. So social media plays a big role, as we all know, with our interactions. And I think this unfriend culture is a terrible fashion. Yeah. Because why can't we be friends even if we hold difference of opinion?
Yeah.
We don't have to unfriend each other just because what I see is this side of the spectrum and what you see is that side of the spectrum.
Exactly.
Why don't we just allow and appreciate and respect each other's differences?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what multiculturalism is about.
Yes.
Multi-dimensional visions or interactions of different concepts is about, and so we learn everything that we learn through other people.
Yeah.
So by saying I'm going to unfriend you because you have this opinion and I have this other one, you're cutting yourself short from appreciating and learning potentially the full spectrum of whatever it is that you formed an opinion on.
Yeah, and it's that curiosity. Like when we were kids, we're very curious, we're very interested. We want to learn, we want to take things apart, we want to play with things. And I often bring it back to what happens if you have a baby, you have a child, and you just neglect it. We're neglecting parts of society. That baby needs contact, it needs connection, it needs love and appreciation. No matter if it screams at you or not. Yeah. And that's the same thing we've got to apply to people in our day to day. And I think all those differences where we dislike someone because of their skin or because of their religion, because of their sex, or because of all these things.
Their viewpoints.
Now it's become we dislike people because of viewpoints and we disassociate. Yeah. But isn't that the same model for all those other parts of hatred of human beings? Like, so I can hate you because you have a different opinion, but I won't ever hate you because you're different in different ways to me.
Yeah.
So it's like
it goes against its own concept. And I think a lot of those people are coming with these strong opinions because they care so much for humanity. Yeah. So if you care so much for humanity, why censor or block other people's freedom of speech?
Yes.
Why not, potentially, if we look at it with the metaphor that you're allowing about
you're segregating those people.
Yeah. If we look at it, whether it's a baby plant or a baby animal like a pet or a baby human, everything needs nurturing.
Yes.
And it needs energy, and it needs contact, and it needs eye contact, and it needs care for it to grow.
Yes.
And so a relationship is no different.
Yeah.
A human contact and relationship conversation needs some nurturing, some care.
Yeah.
And I think if I was to share my perspective on this, if we listen twice as much as we speak, we listen with compassion and actually hear what the other person is saying, not to hear them so we can attack them.
Yeah.
We're listening to hear so we can understand.
Yes.
We can potentially learn from each other.
Yeah.
And better connect with each other rather than talking at people instead of with people.
Yeah.
And I think I'd rather listen than be heard.
Yes.
I mean, I like being heard. Everybody wants to be heard.
Yes.
So the gift we can give each other and the gift that we can give your audience through this is listen to allow others to be heard.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the whole point of it as well, is keep learning. Like that's I like discussing and chatting to people that are different because, you know, they teach me something new. I learn something new. And isn't that a part of being alive, is to learn? We've kind of lost that zest as children to be curious with something that's different. Now we kind of pinpoint anything that's something that's different and labeled as, you know, offensive or could be harmful or may contain, you know, some hurt. It's like, well, you know, how do we learn and evolve and create and connect and grow together if we're going to just disassociate? I don't think we can. I think the important being an element going forward, hopefully the rest of 2021, hopefully going forward in our future, is that we value conversation. We understand that conversations is how we've always done things in tribes. In our history, conversations are so important. And we don't neglect people just because we don't like what they say to us. I mean, come on, we've got to be stronger than that.
I have an interesting concept that's just brewing in my mind right now as you're speaking about this. And I'm completely listening to you, because this is the other trap that a lot of people have, is whilst they're listening more to their own thought and their own internal dialogue rather than
interpretation of what you said. Yeah.
Exactly. So one of the ways you can clarify while you're listening is ask questions.
Yeah.
But what I had brewing in my mind as well, to complement what we're talking about here, every year at different seasons there's different trends with fashion.
Yes.
So, and some of those trends repeat.
Yeah.
Some of them we go, why did we even go there? Let's not repeat that fashion.
Yeah.
And with social media, that's what happens as well.
Yes.
So what was trending previously may not be trending anymore, and what was trending previously may have been oversensitivity to political incorrectness.
Yes.
People get so easily offended.
Yeah.
And what that's created is more people that are afraid to speak up because they're afraid to be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
And afraid to be confused or misunderstood.
You're banned.
Exactly.
You're censored. You're cancelled.
Blocked out of groups.
Yeah.
Disliked, unfollowed.
What if you had one too many drinks and you said something and you slipped up? Oh, that's it. Tickets.
Well, we're not your friend anymore.
Yeah.
And so what's happened since then is now people are starting to speak up because of all the events of 2020.
Yeah.
And every man and his friend had an opinion.
Yes.
Sometimes they were unqualified to give an opinion, but that didn't stop them.
No.
There's a really good JFK quote. It says, sometimes we have the luxury of an opinion without the thought that goes into it, you know?
Yeah.
And so, or something to that effect. And so the idea is, if we can give things a bit more thought, even realize that there's a fashion of unfollowing people because we don't like their viewpoint or their opinion, and you can subscribe to the idea of, I don't have to follow that trend.
Yeah.
I don't have to follow that fashion. Just like when people wear floral shirts, I didn't follow that.
Yeah.
Or baggy pants, for example. That didn't go well with me.
Yeah.
So why should I do the unfollowing thing? Why don't I be the compassionate one that stays true friends with true loyalty to my friends, whether they agree with me or disagree with me? I'm not going to unfollow them.
Yeah.
Why don't I be compassionate and listen to them?
Yeah, exactly.
Hear them out, and potentially, just by listening and hearing them and being compassionate, I've given them a chance to air their view, and tomorrow they might change their point.
Yeah, exactly.
They might have a completely different view.
Yeah, we're human. We change and we adapt, and you're creating that space. And I love having family members and friends that actually have opposite opinions to me and opposite viewpoints, because I'm able to contend with my views and opinions and thoughts with a little bit more depth, and not just take them at face value, not just look at the numbers or the science or the stats of it, and actually go, let me really understand why I believe this. Does this have some relation to my experiences in my life? Does this have some relation to to who I am or who I identify, or my identity politics? What how does this relate to me? And when you have someone who's got the opposite viewpoint, it can really test, your values and your principles and your beliefs, and really go, oh no, actually I really believe in this, or oh, maybe there's something I can do, maybe I need to throw that out.
So you can expand your learning.
Yeah.
And one of the other cool things is to understand that there are different types of people out there. Some are very high intelligent, are very high IQ.
Yeah.
They love to research, they love to satisfy their thirst and their hunger for doing research and understanding things to different depths, looking at statistics, looking at scientific evidence, rah, rah, rah. And there's some people that are not like that at all, and they go more with their gut feel.
Yes.
So they're more EQ, if you like, instead of IQ.
Yes.
And understanding, people will have difference of opinions based on that.
Yeah.
So if we can respect both the EQ and the IQ, maybe then we build our own balance of intelligence in both emotional intelligence and IQ intelligence.
Exactly. Yeah.
Head and heart sort of integrated.
Yes. Using the whole body, not just the head.
And expanding your experience rather than cutting yourself short.
Yes.
Going, I don't agree with what Kyle's saying. I'm just going to follow what John and Mary say.
Yeah.
And we're going to cut off Kyle now from our friendship circle. No. Why don't we integrate Kyle, listen to what he's saying.
Yeah.
Maybe John and Mary might then learn from that, and so could I.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Conversations, I think, are really the way forward, especially in 2021.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you for joining us. Thanks for joining me in Bass, and thanks for coming along, Bass.
Thank you, Kyle.
And I think today and forward for 2021, let's have better conversations. Let's decide to have deeper conversations, and let's bring each other together and pull each other in and not neglect each other. I think that's the way forward. Anyway,
Awesome. Sounds great to me.
yes, it's a plan. Cheers, guys, and thanks for that. And I want you to go out and have better conversations, and leave in the comments below maybe something you took away from this, or how you're going to try different techniques of how to have better conversations. Really appreciate it. Cheers, guys.